Hey Dylan, thanks for taking my call.
Hey Dylan, big fan of the show.
Huge fan of the show. Love what you're doing.
Such a big fan of the show. I'm so glad to have a minute of your time.
Hi, Dylan. It's Gavin.
Dude, Dylan.
Look, I cannot help you. I'm sorry. It's not hard to understand, okay? So here's my thought. You would be crazy to think that. Welcome into Hey Dylan. I'm your host, Dylan, here on the Dylan Berry Network. It's a lot of Dylan right there. But today, it's about Batman, okay? And huge release of Matt Reeves' new The Batman starring Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, and many, many more. I had to bring in the DBN Justice League, if you will. The only people capable of talking superhero movies with me. Here they are. We got Richie, we got Mike, we got Zach. Welcome. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good, man. Excited for the DBN's return out here.
Yeah, doing better since I got to see the Batman.
You did. You guys saw it Friday night, correct?
That's right.
All right. I just saw it this morning. It's Sunday morning, so you guys have had more time to sleep. Think about it. Do you plan to see it again?
Eventually. I definitely do.
I probably won't in the theaters again just because, I don't know, 3 hours is 3 hours, man. It's an undertaking for sure. It doesn't feel like it when you're watching it, but I'll probably wait till it comes out, or maybe I'll do like a $5 Tuesday day at the old whatchamacallit down
now.
Don't mention them. DBN's not sponsored by him. Don't give them the
we don't want to mention.
If we see a Snyder 4-hour-long cut, are you interested? If they're like, yo, HBO Max is putting out a 4-hour-long version of this movie.
Yes. If I can watch it at home, yes.
I'll watch that at home any day.
Yeah, no question about that.
All right. Well, first impressions. I want to hear it. Zach, I want to start with you. What do you think of this movie? Literally the last episode of Hey Dylan, me and you reacted to the new Batman trailer. So that's how long it's been, and that's why I wanted to wait and do this episode.
There was a hiatus just for this reason, so that there could be some continuity.
We were curious. There was a lot of, will Pattinson be able to do it? Is it going to be too dark? Zach, what do you think of this movie?
I mean, it totally lived up to my expectations, and I've definitely been thinking about it a lot since we left. Especially the score has been stuck in my head, kind of since I walked out. But one of the things I've been thinking about is kind of the impression it left on me is in your intro you called it a superhero movie, and it doesn't really totally feel like a superhero movie in that Batman's not really like a superhero in this one. He feels very much like a vigilante, like a very well-armed vigilante. It's much more of like a crime thriller mystery film than it is kind of a traditional superhero movie. Yeah, noir totally. It even starts off and finishes with the classic noir voiceover. But I loved it. I was a huge fan. That's a great new fresh take on a character that we've seen a lot of, and I got everything out of it that I wanted.
Mike, what do you think of the Batman, man? You once called yourself Batman.
What did I think about Batman? Zoe Kravitz is what I thought, man.
All right.
Absolutely unreal. Every scene she was in, fantastic. But besides that, though, I really liked it. Despite being 3 hours, I felt like it actually moved. I was definitely engaged the whole time, and it was kind of an interesting take where, kind of like what Zach was saying, like it didn't feel super, like a superhero movie. You were really kind of there with, a young Batman just trying to get off his feet. Really not like this indestructible Batman that you typically see who's just whooping up on everybody. You saw a Pattinson really struggling to become this character, and you kind of got to see him and Gordon actually doing their detective work, going through, and I felt like the Arkham games a little bit, where you're in the detective.
Totally.
You got Gordon in your ear there, and they're just sitting down there and they're like breaking through these riddles, and you're like, oh man, this is it. So it totally had a different feel to it, and I ended up really liking it though. Like I was impressed, and the whole time I was going through it, I kept on thinking like, wow, this is a big undertaking. Like the whole time, like when just as the Batman is slowly putting things together, like you feel like you're putting them together at the same time. Like you're still like, wait, where are we going? How big is the corruption? And like once when things are revealed, you're making the connection same as him. So I had a lot of fun watching it.
Richie,
I thought it was great, man. 3 hours was long, but it didn't feel like 3 hours. Like we got out of the movie and it was nighttime. I was like, dang, that went super quick. I'm a huge Riddler fan ever since watching Gotham, so I was excited to see how that all played out, and I loved how it played out. it almost felt like he wasn't even like the main villain the whole time, because you kind of forget about it because he's got to do these, like, he's got to solve these riddles, find all these other guys that he's trying to find. And so it was kind of cool to see like how smart the Riddler was throughout the movie and what he did to make the Batman find him, I guess you could say. And then at the very end of the movie, I don't know if we're giving spoilers or not, but I thought it was great how they did the end of the movie and what the Riddler did, and then who he found in the jail.
Crazy.
Got us real excited.
This is like it's crazy because it kind of feels like summer 2007. Let me take you guys there. All right. Warner Brothers is on top of the world. All right. Harry Potter movies, we're right in the middle of them. The Dark Knight's coming out, but also summer 2007 is Iron Man, and this is when suddenly the MCU started to take over and DC started to dip. Now that the Avengers are done, and there's a lot of hype around this DC, and we're pumping out better and better movies. Dude, are we going to be living in like the roaring 20s of the DC universe or what? Or is that too much to say? Is this because, dude?
Not even close.
Dude, their 2020
yeah.
that little preview they showed of like DC 2022.
Hey, Flash, Flash is looking good, right? The new ones they showed, they look good, but DC is DC, and their live action movies never live up. I mean,
Black Adam looked like trash.
Like Batman is always dominated, right? I mean, the last Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah,
Nolan. What can you do? Right? Those are just.
Batman's the only thing keeping that ship afloat.
Yeah,
and that's how it was for me. Before we get too far, though, Dylan, let's complete the circle here. Hit us with your impressions, your top level thoughts.
Yeah, no,
you're fresh off of it.
Top level thoughts. No, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think it was a really good movie. I agree. The length is the only thing that I can really fault it for. I loved that it wasn't like this huge scale story until like it was something you discovered, and it was like Seven, the David Fincher movie where they're just slowly uncovering things. That got a little repetitive, but it did remind me so much of the video games. Even some of the shots like of Batman, I was just like, dude, this looks like Arkham. Like,
this is a Riddler puzzle right here.
Looks perfect. Like,
dude, when he sent in Zoe Kravitz and he's out there like messing around, like trying to dial in, I was like, oh man, I'm cracking the code right now.
Dude, yes, there was just so much good stuff to it, and yeah, the Riddler was just terrifying. It like a good Batman movie is one where the villain brings out like the worst in Batman, or makes him face his most internal struggles, and then bring out his weaknesses, and then Batman at the end overcomes those weaknesses, and in an epic battle or preventive whatever, and you get that from this movie. Like, we go back to the death of Martha and Thomas Wayne. So spoilers ahead. Let's just go spoilers, because the Wayne people, like, that caught me off guard. Like, the fact that they were in with gangsters, like, and one thing I will say about Zoe Kravitz is like Catwoman in the 90s was kind of crazy, but she fit that movie. Anne Hathaway, hot, great, but was a little goofy in that movie. Like, to me, cartoony.
Hard to believe her as Catwoman a little bit. Like,
yeah, it's a little cartoony, and the whispering and the like way she talks. But Zoe Kravitz seems like a pissed off Selena Kyle, someone who really does want to get back at the big bad, and like is going to be this Robin Hood character. And she's perfect. Not only is she hot, Michael, come on. Like,
dude, she's a bad girl, man. Dude,
was she wearing that red wig? Oh,
come on, like,
bro, she walks, just the confidence in that walk, the way. Oh man, she stole the scenes. Right, every time she comes on there, like, you were just like, God damn, like, stop it.
That's my Catwoman for sure.
Yeah, dude, incredible Catwoman. So all these things really worked for me. Colin Farrell was good. Like, we're getting an HBO series about that Penguin, which is
that'd be interesting.
I'm cool for it. If it's like a mafia based, like, I like.
You would think post movie, like, it might be him trying to like come up to power. Now there's kind of the vacancy, and you would maybe think the sequel would be a few years later. Post what what happened, because I don't imagine we're gonna watch them drain the city out and everything.
Well, Dylan, one of the interesting things about this movie, I think, is because you mentioned that good Batman villains attack Batman's weaknesses. where he's most vulnerable. And clearly this whole movie is about Batman's, quest for vengeance. And as this movie unravels, figuring out, okay, well, is that really the right thing to be after here? Because Riddler in particular is also after vengeance, from the people that he feels has wronged him and people like him. Selina's out for vengeance. And at the end of it, nobody really gets what they were after. And, it kind of leaves you with this open-ended question where Batman's like, okay, he asked himself, okay, well, if I'm not going to be a symbol of vengeance, because that's not working, what do I become then? And the movie doesn't answer that, but it's an interesting arc of that we haven't really seen before of him really questioning himself and why he's doing what he's doing, especially when it comes to, finding out about, his father's potential corruption. And, if he's fighting for his father, like he says, and that's not worth it, then what am I doing this for? Just a really interesting direction to see them take that struggle.
Yeah, dude. And Pattinson's it. When we get these new iterations of Spider-Man, of Batman, it's always man, what kind of world are they going to choose? Christopher Nolan, of course, chose a really realistic world, and the Justice League ones, that was, whatever it was. But this one, man, it went really dark. I would guess that the next movie is going to be just physically brighter because, dude, it was dark.
It's night. Always.
And that beginning scene when he's talking about I am darkness and I scare people.
Nocturnal animal and all that stuff.
Phenomenal. Dude, as soon as the voiceover started, I was like, holy cow, we're getting Batman's thoughts in voiceover in this. You really felt how terrifying it would be to be a criminal in that city. Yes. That scene was maybe my favorite opening scene to a Batman movie.
Yeah.
Dude, he was a super menacing figure all the way throughout, which even his gadgets too, especially when the car scene, when you first see Batman's car in this, dude, it was just all destroyed, strikes terror into the enemy, and he's just sitting there revving up his engine. It's just some souped up muscle car is all it is. But the reveal and that scene and everything was just oh shoot, who is this guy? Really puts the fear in you.
Yeah, I love that we do get some talk of Arkham directly and see it, and the Arkham family. It felt Deep Cup.
Martha is from the Arkham family. That's a crazy.
That's insane. I never knew that. The action in this movie pretty sick, dude. Not a lot of quick cutty action. You see the full flips over, the full strikes, all that stuff.
The direction.
He's just tanking shots too, man. Not a sophisticated Batman. Definitely just taking hits over the back of the head. Really just getting knocked down over and over again.
Bruce did not train with the League of Shadows. That is for sure.
Oh man, he was.
That was him, Alfred, in a punching bag. That was training right there.
What did we think of Alfred? Alfred, of course, played by who knows it.
Andy Serkis, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. Who I made the connection was the main character of the Planet of the Apes movies. Who this director did the good ones. Which, dude, Serkis was great. Serkis was sick.
I wanted more. I mean, that was it. I mean, I thought he did great in the scenes he was in, and really just another cool because this one clearly brings in Alfred's background, being in the British Secret Service, more so than I think the live action ones ever have, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, he had this just kind of casualness about him. The fact that he's just eating breakfast at the table, or he stumbles in on Batman, looking at old footage, the contact lenses, gadgets, the Batcave and getting to the Batcave.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah, he definitely had more of a confidence about him. He belonged in that atmosphere. But we really didn't see too much from him, to be honest. I mean. Yeah. For as long of a film as it was, you really were just following Pattinson around most of the time. But
he got blown up.
He really had 2-3 scenes.
I thought the scene in the hospital was probably his scene stealer or one. I mean, it's more of a scene for Bruce to kind of come to terms with his emotions a little bit about what he's been going through. But that scene between him and Alfred, I thought was really really well done.
Was there when it is. Robert Pattinson already better than Ben Affleck? Are we quick to say it?
Yeah,
we need to see Pattinson do.
For me, at least, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to bring down Ben Affleck, but I kind of thought his character sucked. I don't know. I guess Ben Affleck never got to really have a Batman movie. Right? He was just in the Justice League. It's for his Batman was already an old man. he had some great action for him for sure. Like
Yeah.
I like Ben Affleck's action. Those were cool, but his Batman was like totally different take. His Bat car is like killing folks left and right. The one thing Batman doesn't do. Affleck had no problem snapping necks out there. And he's going to start this Justice League, and he's already like ready to retire. Like it just wasn't a big problem.
Right. It's very much like old Batman, which it's hard to kind of get behind when you never saw like what got him to that point.
Yeah.
They just kind of gloss over that. So maybe that's what makes this one so compelling, is it is still a Batman very much like in his rookie stages as a crime fighter.
Yeah.
Dude, the person who got a ton of screen time was Commissioner Gordon. What did we think of? Is that? That's not. That's
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright. Yes.
Yeah, he was in Hunger Games. Westworld, a big one.
What do we think? What do we think of Jeffrey Wright?
I thought he did good, bro. I loved him.
Yeah.
He did real good. I think one of my favorite scenes with him was when Batman was trying to tell him no guns. He's like, "Hey, that's you, bro. That's all you. That ain't got nothing to do with me."
Yeah. Dude, I'm a big fan of that actor for sure.
Yeah.
And he had some good, like Richie was saying, some good witty commentary. Kind of lightens the mode a little bit, because otherwise, I mean, it's just dark without him. You're going from a Riddler scene where, Riddler's clearly just this psychotic character. Totally different than Jim Carrey's that you can almost laugh at a little bit, right? Yeah. Whereas this one, you're just scared of this Riddler. You're like, wow, this guy's clearly had a mental breakdown and is barely holding on to reality.
I saw some headlines like out there that there was this kind of stir among people that this movie might have been too political. I did think it was interesting that like Batman, when he walked through the police station, it was weird to just see him casually walk through it. It did feel like the Arkham games. The fact that there were some cops that just hated him and just like did not like Batman, and there were some who just worked with him as if it was normal. And
Martinez.
Yeah, then you get like the Zoe Kravitz stuff, and it's all around politicians but I feel like that's Batman. Like he's dealing with district attorneys and police chiefs and all this stuff.
I mean, so much of this was it felt adapted from the Long Halloween arc, which is, and that one takes place over a year, and it is very much like this mysterious killer going around killing, mayors and DAs and crime bosses, and Batman trying to track it down. But where that's over the course of a year, they compress this one down into a week, so it's extra intense. But yeah, I felt that was one of the cool things about this, is it really, you got to know Gotham, and you really got a feel for how corrupt it was, and what a filthy, horrible, crime-ridden city this is. And Batman's like, dude, I don't even know if no matter what I do, if I can save this place. Like, it might be past, but I have to try.
You're kind of like with Riddler, where it's like, dude, if they promise change and it looks like this, yeah, you're gonna get crazy people like that. It's nutty. So here's what I want to know is letter grade. Letter grade from F to A+, A+ being masterpiece, F being dude did not do the job. And then I want to know what tier Batman movie is this? Is this top tier? Is this like up there with the best? The Batman Begins, Dark Knight, or is this kind of forgettable, low level Batman? So let's start, Richie. What grade you giving this movie?
I'd say B+. I really enjoyed it. It's something I would definitely watch again. And I mean, it comes on like the movie channels. I'll sit down, I'll watch it, kind of thing. Tier wise, I don't think anything is ever going to be up there with Dark Knight. That's just too hard to do. But I say it's maybe one tier below, maybe right there with like Batman Begins. But yeah.
All right, Mike.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna go A-, I think. And then I would, I think it's totally a top tier Batman movie for sure, but it's just hard to. And this is why you have to give it an A-. 'Cause I think it is a great film, but with the Dark Knight in your mind, it's so hard to live up to that. Like the Christopher Nolan trilogy is just, I mean, top tier from a movie standpoint, not even from a Batman standpoint, right? Those are just impeccable. Mm-hmm. And so that's unfortunate for this, because you're always going to have that to compare it to. And so it's going to kind of limit, how much, like, because I still remember like leaving the first time I saw The Dark Knight, and you're literally just like completely wowed, and you're ready to go back again the next day, like because I have that
We
experience.
did go back the next.
We did, yeah, right. Like people saw it multiple times. I think I saw that one like 3-4 times in theaters. And so because I got like that frame of mind, like when I leave the theater for this one, I'm like, wow, really enjoyed it, great film, but it's not going to have like that level that the old, the last trilogy did.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I mean, I think where this movie succeeds is that just like The Dark Knight, you can look at it as a great film and not just a great superhero movie. I think in the context of this conversation, The Dark Knight is an A+, right? I would give this one a solid A. I put it pretty close. I think it's probably the most interesting take on the character we've seen on screen.
Great.
The most different. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. But yeah, of course, it's hard to look at it and say anything's better than The Dark Knight. But I put it up there, not at the A+ range, but a couple steps below. And that's not taking anything away from this movie. That's just it's rarefied air up there.
No, yeah, not one bit. It is. I think I'm in the A- B+ range as well. I think it'll change probably over the years because honestly, I remember seeing The Dark Knight before maybe seeing Batman Begins.
I did too.
Batman Begins is one that gets better every time I rewatch it. And if this Batman movie has good sequels to come, I bet you it's gonna age well. I feel like this Batman will age well, and we will miss it because there was just so many details, and every character you want. I would be cool with any character in that movie having an HBO series because it's a cool world. I want to see more of it. The movie was long, but again, an extra hour, I would watch it. Just need a little time.
Totally. Earn the runtime.
So if I was to commit to one, I'd probably say A- as well. And yeah, I'd say top tier. This is like an origin story, but still one story. Like this case took him through his beginnings and these new friends of allies and whatnot. And yeah, I thought it was special. I don't think I'll see it again in theaters either. But when it comes out again, I'm down. So it's A- for me. But I think it'll have like, and I have Return to Arkham upstairs downloading. So that's,
ooh, okay.
That means
you got to after that though.
The girlfriend's out of town for like 3 or 4 days, so what's
I'm gonna say
100 hours with the Arkham games,
Beautiful. No, you could feel what an influence those games were on that movie. All for the best.
Dude, I was shocked by you three because I have been asking you three on Snapchat random questions about watching the MCU and what order to watch. I'm watching them chronologically in the story they happen, so it's Captain America, Captain Marvel, whatever. And you guys said you skip The Incredible Hulk. And most lists do as well, but it's Tony Stark's in that movie. He's at the very end.
He's in the credit scene, bro.
Dude,
the credit scene.
The old Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah, I just don't really enjoy that movie, so I don't. That's a pretty good technicality since it's not made by Marvel Studios to be able to skip it on an MCU rewatch. So I take it.
Same reason I don't rewatch Captain Marvel.
Is it even on Disney?
Though? No, it's not. It's not on Disney. Well, I don't think the new Spider-Mans are on Disney right now either.
No.
So I'm worried, but they have those little shorts that are just so weird. I don't remember those. But yeah, in the middle.
They're probably like DVD bonuses or something like that back in the day when people bought DVDs.
Yeah, but yeah, Thor right now. This is the golden age right here. I got Avengers next. But yeah, you skip Hulk. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming on. You guys are great. Let's go around. Give one movie recommendation. Maybe that people haven't heard of or that people just need to see. That you've seen recently that's gotten you excited that you're like, dude, how have people not seen blank? And if they haven't. Zach.
I haven't really watched many movies lately. I'm most excited to watch Drive My Car, which is the Oscar nominee that's got added to HBO Max. It's based on a short story from Haruki Murakami, who's one of my favorite authors. It's got great reviews, but that is another movie that is a full 3 hours. So I have to sit down and commit to it. So I would recommend people check that one out because I hear it's great. Haven't seen it though.
Richie.
Shoot, bro, I don't know. Last week I think
Richie, true or false? You were not coming to Vegas, and then you watched Infinity War, and then suddenly you were coming to Vegas. Is that the way it went?
I mean, I think that is kind of how it went. I don't know if they had anything to do with each other, but
it was a coincidence.
Team up, bro. You got team
I couldn't miss Vegas twice in a row, bro. I couldn't.
I was gonna say, yeah, you can't. That's wrong.
But I think the last movie I watched was that new Medea movie.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, bro, Medea make me laugh, dog.
Tyler Perry.
Good job.
My one red flag.
I'm more of a Queen Latifah fan myself. Mike.
I mean, I don't know if it's really like underrated or underseen, but my movie rec is gonna be Dune. Because that's like the most recent one that kind of took me in the theater for sure. Like that was a great one to see.
Will you tune into the Oscars a little more so because Dune's nominated?
No, but I'm glad to hear that it is. I don't even know when the Oscars is, to be honest.
But
is it really? Yeah. But I mean, what? Timothy Chalamet up for a couple of awards or what?
I don't think it's him. I think it's like all the technical feats,
ensemble, and
costumes, music, VFX.
Is it Zimmer? Is it Zimmer's the?
Yeah.
And then I think
that guy not killing it
as well. All right. Well, thanks, fellas, for doing this. This has been a review of Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman. 2022. See you guys.